This is Brian Walmsley, known to the absentee list as Unexcused, and the man who founded the nonprofit organization to help people who think that grades are somehow a measure of intelligence get a new brain stem, and I'm coming out of the booth. You know, when I heard that all unexcused absences by seniors a few Mondays ago equated out to a Saturday school, I felt the mild nausea that can only come from the effects of a misguided and failing system. And as I become more and more informed of the events that took place over my 3-week hiatus as a professional toolbox, I find a lack of bowel control I haven't seen in myself since I tried to find the logic behind spending taxpayer dollars on these expensive walkie-talkies so that these life-threatening emergencies can be dealt with as soon as possible and the spill on the table in the cafeteria be cleaned up with maximum efficiency. So I'm talking to the underclassmen on this one. I'm not going to bother with the teachers who write sneaky anonymous letters and turn off the only part of the news with a point, or the administrators who would drop someone out of required class without any kind of justification for a study hall destroying his ability to graduate. So in the tradition of Michael Jackson and the Stow City School District are pretty much just a good propaganda institution, I'm going to try to get them while they're young just to see if I can't reverse brainwash you kids. So all you underclassmen, quit trying to fit in for a second. I'm going to try to use words and phrases you will understand, which means the concepts will be under 2 syllables and end in dude or corn rocks. So dude, like, don't believe in what everyone tries to make you do, dude. It's like, they all want you to think alike, dude, because, dude, that's what the government wants, dude. It's like Big Brother, dude, and they all think like us kids are going to be easier to control and we all, like, think alike, you know? Oh, yeah, and corn rocks! And for the rest of you underclassmen who aren't long-haired low talkers, all 3 of you, I recommend you start using that atrophied muscle of objectivity and free will. Start to get just a little bit suspicious when some goblin starts telling you that you need to do things to make you become one with the community and to help people. The last time I heard this idea was in old newsreels in history class, but I couldn't understand them because the narration was in German. Free will and objectivity is what separates man from the other less evolved and unworthy members of our biosphere. It is also the difference as to whether a society is declared free or ruled. A free society where the only understanding is that there is no understanding and people are allowed to think whatever they want without a school program to impregnate you with the idea that how you think is wrong. I think that's a right even the corrupt have to recognize. This is Brian Walmsley and you stand corrected. Well, this is Brian Walmsley and I stand sedated.
This is Boris. Those of you who saw movie Fight Club, I am Brian Walmsley's Tyler Durden, and the kid who was gay until he found out gay means something different to you Americans, and I am, well, you get the picture. Let me start off first by asking a question about Brian Walmsley. Sure, he has been at school in past few weeks less than someone facing expulsion. Sure, his grades couldn't get him into a community college. But let me ask a question that everyone is wondering. Where is this booth? He is coming out of a booth. We don't see a booth. When I was at home in Mother Russia, my mom operated a toll booth in Stroika. She had to work every day for 30 hours a day to earn 40 rubles for me to come to this country. And I am offended when this punk American thinks he knows what it is like to be in a booth or feel the glory of coming out of a booth. Enough small talk, let's get back to work. First of all, the problem with Walmsley starts with his genetic inferiority. Well, and the second problem, that he tries to address a problem that really isn't, he slants it at a bad angle and he tries to offend everyone in the process. His melodramatic way of speaking comes off as typical American whining. This paranoid idea that he has that the school is trying to brainwash everyone is silly at best. This imperfect education system is no different from the imperfect education system that your parents and your parents' parents both went through. This Walmsley thinks he's so tough. Try getting through a school year in a Russian winter. Do you think that these people from a war-torn country who would probably kill for the opportunities and education he has, and he squanders it by being ungrateful? To try to make people think that there is some kind of master plan to manipulate and brainwash people is not something that would even be a benefit to the principals that Brian constantly points his lanky finger to, is a disruption against the people who are trying to make your lives better. But on the other hand, even though I had to suppress every urge to shoot Brian, oh, sorry, I forgot you guys have a democracy. I do now think that he has the right to say these things, even though they offend. Hey, I got offended by the movie GoldenEye, but I still let my host family watch it. I know turn it off. You should be thankful that, that you don't think a television is a magic box like I did. You should be thankful that when the first time you saw a car, you didn't try to feed it. This has been Boris. Merry Thanksgiving.